I'm curious about how being from New Orleans, because I know it has definitely content, but I'm curious about form, and if there is a way that you would say that the city has shaped the form of the poem.
I don't know that the city necessarily, that's really something I think to think about. That's a new kind of question for me. I don't think I've had a question like that. Thank you very much. But I don't know about that. I know that the city shapes me, and that that I'm not necessarily writing about New Orleans. I'm writing out of it. That it's the prism, I suppose is the word. It's the prism, the lens through which I see and hear and dance and feel and eat and drink and breathe and so forth. So it's part of my makeup, so that it's there. Sometimes in a very slight turn of phrase or something, it's there, and choosing to use a folk expression that we've transliterated from the Creole into English, choosing to do that, choosing to, for instance, kanasuk, to use an expression like, which simply means sugar cane, of course, but in Louisiana, it's an endearment. To call someone kanasuk is an endearment, because we labored in sugar, did we not? It's sugarcane country, and produced most of the sugar that most of this country consumed for most of its history. So it's kind of this thing, so that there is that this is a country that you could say has sugar in the blood, as old people used to refer to diabetes, right? So, well, nobody would say, you have diabetes. They'd say, she's got sugar in the blood. And it's a way, I think, that expression is a way of talking about this society and its history of slavery and enslavement and resistance. And also, and so that being the case, then taking something as simple as sugar cane, and taking something as simple as the fact of it becoming this kind of endearment, and that perhaps that's some way in which the poems are, maybe it's not the form of the poem, but the framing of the poem, because I think what I'm talking about is something like perspective, but whatever would be the equivalent word for carriage in this context, I think is really what I'm talking about. But I haven't been asked a question like that, so that's something that'll go into one of my notebooks. I'll worry it, and create maps around it and charts around it. And in terms of practice, that is one of the things I do. I have recurring characters in some of these poems, and so I have to remember how they're related to one another. So from the very beginning, I created charts and maps and lists and things. So I have lists and charts and maps and genealogies and so forth. I mean, I have to remember, there's the Crying Eagle family over here, and there's the Boses over here, and then, so there's all this stuff going on. So it never occurred to me that I should try to keep that stuff straight in my own head. So that's what notebooks are for. So that's part